Testing 103. Testing 103. Testing 301. This is for John P. O'Neill, or if that's his middle name. I hope your family enjoys this documentary. God bless you. The real anything that the real PBS one left out, this is going to continue with. I hope you enjoy. I mean it from the bottom of my heart. Let's all win the war on peace. I'm tired of all this war. John, get a hold of me if you can. Here we go. Good morning. I don't know what date it is, and I really can't give you my location. I hope you understand. This is within the documentary of John O'Neill. I've been neglecting very, very decent international film festivals have actually and national film festivals have asked me to do this. So now, forgive me. Within the film, I will do this now. The real film and the poster will be the same. We're talking today about the great American hero and Irishman, John O'Neill. There was a PBS documentary by him with the greatest voiceover person ever from Boston. The frontline man's voice, God, he's incredible. One of the best. I was friends with David Freudberg, who we had a little falling out, but he is also great. So, John O'Neill was, see, a lot of people don't know, according to the New York Times, and the New York Times, Tim Weiner can prove it. He's the intelligence writer for the best newspaper, of course, the New York Times. In the real world, not for my world, but it's not the London Times, believe it or not. It's not even the newspapers controlled once by Robert Maxwell, the great Mossad spy, possible double agent, and his daughter, who's bragging about being CIA when she's caught, but she actually might really be Mossad. I can't hold it to it. I can't hold it to it. By way of deception is more honest. We all know this. But it's more correct in espionage. The Gentiles aren't so good at spying. So if you look at the Torah, the Old Testament, you can tell that. And the agency is New Testament. In the Bureau, we all like to deny it. But its greatest and longest, toughest founder, that's J. Edgar Hoover, a friend of the Kennedys, attempted to warn JFK himself, who was having an affair with probably the most beautiful woman in the world at the time, I would imagine, who was involved in National Socialism. Not the Stasi, the great Stasi, who's male operatives. Actually, this is embarrassing. They were really good. We put a dent in the Stasi when von Stiller defected, and he is a great man. He named a man that was sort of a friend of mine and a favorite of mine. That's Udo Proch, not Dr. Proch, and not my boss's Liechtenstein attorney, whose wife was really a knockout as well. Almost a match for Fatima, who I worked for directly and personally for a long time. All right, shit. Let's get back to John O'Neill because this is a documentary. But I'm a real proprietary worker who had my inventory seized, and thank God, honestly, I swear to God, sold for charity. I'll get you the name in the liner notes someday. But this is not neo-absurdism, my background. This is a real documentary. That's so right. O'Neill is the best of the best. He is the expert in Al Qaeda. He knows what Al Qaeda is or isn't. And he goes to Yemen. Honestly, again, it sounds like parody all the time, but it's a great, great center of occultism, okay? And Kenneth Grant was accused of insanity. Of course, I have too. But Yemen, he's right, perhaps, about Howard Lovecraft's interpretation of the occultist Abdul al-Hazred, okay?
You're darn right he's a star.
Abdul al-Hazred. So you might think that absurdism can't be the way, but I wasn't a legit Discordian like Adam Gorightly and the man,
The Americans, the
the
Raptor
Victor
22
Thorne,
is
God
better.
no, that's Scott
Because it's got a rear
Mafuka, not
window,
him,
but the
but
57 is more aesthetic.
Thornley was real. Apparently, he knew Oswald, who had to go to psychiatric hospital, who was defecting at the same time. Might not be exactly the same time, but May 1, Eisenhower may have kept the Cold War going by letting the spy plane be shot down. Powers plane, I think that's his name. Not fucking Tom Cruise in the test vehicle, sorry. But he's handsome too. More to the point, O'Neill was handsome, and the Bureau was jealous, and he's got a gorgeous girlfriend and a gorgeous wife, and truth be told, I think Ghislaine was beautiful, and I never met her on her yacht. I was allegedly knew Khashoggi, who was Mossad, and I lost money on a company his brother formed. So if you can keep up with this, you can listen to this documentary, and I might win. So they block him, and there's a really gorgeous but mean diplomat. Her name escapes me, but her photo will be in this very short film that I hope to win. My original, without audio at all, won in Deutschland, honestly. So he's the greatest expert in counterterror, and the Bureau really is about counterterror. It is the front line of this nation. That's why I don't know if Comey was tough enough. His daughter was involved in the Epstein trial as an attorney, I understand. I only thought I saw Epstein at the country club I was a caddy and Harvard, but I can't promise it. I did meet Chelsea when she was checking on perhaps going to Harvard, but I believe she went to Stanford. I met her at the pit where the girl I had a crush on in high school used to hang, Courtney with a K. There at the pit, the site of all my miseries. If you stare into the abyss stares back at you. Nietzsche tried to warn me, but he wanted to be Polish, by the way. He was not the Aryan Christ, Carl Jung. Both are human beings, nonetheless. Forgive everybody. With the Tucson Elam process, this is good. This O'Neill and the Mossad were doing good. Don't know if he's still alive. I've heard silly stuff like that. I doubt it. Don't know what's up with that moving company. Was it a cover for Mossad? Was the agency following them? And this might just be parody and bullshit, but my old boss told me Casey Movers was William Casey. Casey Movers was everywhere back there when I was a kid, and I don't know what happened to them, but he said he was the greatest spy and fucked them all because, well, they all have to move in the moving companies. That's why they sent me for about 17 years to FedSex. That's FedSex, not FedEx. See, this was all about the sex war, literally. So I went to try to channel O'Neill with my portable scrying stone when I took the Asian bus to New York, where I had to go many times because I couldn't find a good dentist in Boston, and I don't know. I hate Boston, New York. That's why I don't live either place now. Well, maybe I do. Maybe I'm not in Vaduz or London at 221 Baker Street, where is my MI6 friend's office. They all have style, but the Americans, of course, have the power now. The father of Philby warned the Saudis that the power would turn to the Americans. So is this about Saudi intelligence? Is this a Persian war? Is it an Islamic war? Is it a Roman war? Is it a Jesuit war? Or Masonic situation? Pull out your tarot cards. You name the one. But O'Neill, fucking Bureau's jealous of the guy. He's handsome. He would be the only one to save us, but of course, like the Bureau would always do, The postal inspectors are the only good ones with any pride in intelligence that got anybody anyway. The legate almost ruined the CIA. In every embassy, they have to install one. That's a word in Roman. That's my area, Polish. That's where we tapped in and tried to, with much inferior budget to you assholes, wasp, snobs, and everyone. It's the best I could do for my Irish brother. Is try to scry him in fucking New York. Sorry, John. I didn't know you. Don't blame you for having to take a job with Kroll, Jules. I worked for Jules and Jorgen and Julius Tander of Vaduz, Liechtenstein. I don't know if they were assassins. I don't know if they are featured in the book Blood of Brothers, but they were trying to browbeat my boss into doing some kind of training camp in Colombia. Not Kali. Are you shitting me? It's strange to me. My former boss, don't know if he's alive. Still, I thought he was dead the last time. That, you gotta give me that. I was hoping he was dead. He owes me money, so I'm hoping he's alive. Sorry, he owes me money. He owes me money, just like Bill from up north. But black bag private that I refused to meet from Manchester, New Hampshire, the nest of spies, right? Manch Vegas. See, you got to scramble to understand this documentary. You have to throw this to a scrambler and a scrying mirror. But anyway, I have to get this documentary done prior to probably 13 minutes. Definitely prior to the Chaos number 23. As I have a show March 23rd this year, 2024, the end of the year of the beginning. How was O'Neill to know that it was Tisha B'Av, the day of sorrows, when he came to work? And were the Romans, was Titus trying to kill the great Jewish people, or they him? He certainly loved Beatrice. He didn't want to burn down the temple, which I'm going to talk about this more in my direct 9/11 occult series of 2 videos, which will also attempt to be under 13 and 23 minutes. I have to speak quickly and on the move, just like the guy who called Art Bell. He talked too slow. Art, they're trying to triangulate our position. I don't have time to tell you that story, but listen to the song by Korn or rewatch the X-Files, the real one. So O'Neill is drummed out of Yemen, where Abdul al-Hazred dared to do a ritual there, and he was eaten by Yog Sothoth. I'm going to reverse that in 2 films coming soon and try to help Abdul out. I love Yemen. Yemen girls are hot. So says my biomagnetic surrogate at this time. So O'Neill, follow me here. How is he to know the planes also would later be controlled by either Mossad, KGB, the agency itself, or the black operatives? Or they're always underestimated the French with great style. See La Femme Nikita, the old one, not those other horror pimp new ones. So John, who I channeled many times and may have gotten through, there may have been a mishap, and he may have tried to betray Kroll because he needed the money, because the Bureau and the agency was fucking him. So he's at Kroll. The demolitions are put in there by God knows who, maybe even Mossad itself, though I doubt it. Maybe MI6, maybe the agency itself. And let's face it, maybe it was kind of a lightning that's offensive, because at the end of the day, the poor man may had to pull it. It's in some tapes somewhere, because they were pressuring the man whose name I can't say, who really owned the building, and his friends who own the Port Authority, own the tugboats, because they're all into it and set up, and Giuliani's helpless because the thing is going to take down the whole world and the whole country because it's full of asbestos. So they may have had to do an inside job, even though I hate that. I very much hate that. I think that was made by Clifford Chance, British law firm. You can look them up. I don't know if they're still there. I didn't work for them. I got Katja nearly fired when I sent her a fax. And in those days, they just had fax. Sorry about that, Katja. And her friend was fired working for the Coop. That's the cooperative, the real Harvard store. Really, you have to go really to Harvard Square right there. He was a Russian man, and when she was in Russia, she had to fax him from American Bar and Grill. Well, that's where she hung out. A lot of operatives were there. They even knew my boss, allegedly, but I don't know. Who gives a shit? Anyway, so John is not fired by the actress Ava Green. I would have defected for her doubly, too. I don't know if he's set up by Black Cube or the agency. At this time, Mike Harari, that's bullshit that he did the job. But he was maybe still alive in 9/11. Yeah, he just died a few years ago. He's opera. He's the greatest assassin in the world has ever known, and well worth every penny to Mossad. He's protected them, and that's the necessary thing. Cobra had to do it. Victor Ostrowski's also a good man. He wrote By Way of Deception, Part 1 and 2. It was a misunderstanding between him and Harari. Gordon Thomas apparently told all lies, which, to my dismay, when I asked Victor himself, not at the strip club Skin, but at his wonderful gallery, which one of the worst fucking things is I think he had to shut it. I don't know. But, so John is fired by the extremely attractive diplomat. His back is against the wall. What he's going to do, he took the job with Kroll and misunderstanding. It's a reverse inside job, perhaps even the Americans, not Mossad or FSB. FSB might have done the condo job in Moscow. Again, no choice for all these intelligence agencies because they all work one way or another for Rothschild out of a postal box in Vaduz, where someone claimed to see the Mossad operative who was to confess or do a deposition for Iran-Contra. Tower himself had to be killed. He was out of Houston, living not so far from my boss, who had a beautiful dog, Text, and his bodyguard, Sebastian, something like that, allegedly held his gun at the door with his hand all night. He was huge, a West German. He shared with Ricard the importance of leaving alcohol, not just the aesthetic of alcohol, but the alcoholism itself. There's also, from Simply Fred, an option that I don't even want to believe because I want to have peace with Deutschland and Jorgen and Sebastian, who I never went to meet him. I was the bodyguard too, and that guy was the real better one in Houston. You better believe it, with Tex. Shit, trained by the Ukrainian monks. We're getting close to the 23 minutes, so I have to hurry even more. So I'm scrying him at the new obelisk, 1776, Adam Weisschepp's phallic monument of glass, known as the World Trade Center 3. I guess the thing is the whole Solomon's Temple, IU of the widow's son. I don't know if John was. I cry every day that I never met him. Wanted to meet him at Spinal Devil in Bronx, but I was scared to go. Maybe he was scared to go. certainly were. So I'm trying to scry John, and I can't believe it. So I'm a I'm self being a surrogate because I'm afraid of the biomagnetism, even though sometimes I've done it. Photos exist, as Ricard would say, or Jorgen would accuse me of, that Alexander Dumas didn't write Count of Monte Cristo. That's a bunch of bullshit. So he had no choice but to implode and join Kroll, maybe join Black Cube, and I think, God forbid, his own people might have had to kill him. Not IRA, not Irish Republican Army, but maybe the Bureau. Yeah, maybe the Bureau itself had to do it. Now, Simply Fred, who unfortunately got apprehended when I didn't really know him, just me and Rich Gustus thought he was a hero, so I spent the money to put his documentary that he has proved to me might be all lies on YouTube, Alphabet. Simply Fred is the greatest comedian ever was. I'm going to do everything I can in my power so he returns. Maybe he'll even do my show at the 440. I'm going to do it, but there's no guarantees. So Neil had to implode. It's not an inside job. It's an outside job. I don't know, but the place was wired. The guy had to do what he had to do. And Simply Fred shared with me that Jim Mars, not Tex Mars of Austin, Texas, but Jim Mars, I thought they were assholes, but they might be right. The Nazism, in the aesthetic sense at least, that Jorgen and Julius practiced or didn't. In my new case officer, she does or doesn't, but she's really hot. Veronica, Veronique, or Victoria. We're getting close to 23, and 23 is going to be my show, March 23rd. Please go. In the interest of peace, if Ali Hassan Salameh has to go, if the beautiful Mossad woman that may have even had a crush on him because he had style in the style and sex war, that Kim Kardashian and the agency tried to do something about with Paper Magazine when she broke the internet with her ass, which Kroll is a great comedian, by the way. Jules Crow and the family. He didn't kill the cook, Asha Argento, who I had a crush on with a great push. And the cook, I don't know if he's still alive. God bless them all. Warned her kind of to maybe not talk to Kroll or Black Cube, even though they may be for real of the Old Testament. Joshua or Moses assigned an operative early at those days to save us. He was trying to save her, and he couldn't, so he had to eliminate himself. So both the cook, whose name I can't... Oh, Anthony Bardone. Sorry. Forgive me. They both had to implode. God bless everyone. I hope I see you on the 23rd. Please come, Frank, back from Egypt. Bye.
So this was now ending the documentary, the real one. The one with just photos is great. I've limited with my knowledge of technology and certain security clearances have to be granted with the black operatives, with the whoever works for the late Dr. Bartliner in Vaduz, the real headquarters of the black operative proprietary company postal boxes. Enjoy this documentary, and again, God bless the family of John O'Neill. The best of the best. Good night.